They treated me like a thief on my own land. It was supposed to be a peaceful Sunday. The kind of quiet morning where the mist rises off the lake like a secret, and the birds haven't yet decided if the day is worth the trouble. I was skimming algae from the shallows, just like I had every week since I was 10. Same cove. Same dock. Same family. My grandfather built it in 1951. My dad died on it. My daughter took her first steps on it. And yet there I stood, boots soaked, shoulders burning, and a police cruiser's lights spinning red and blue in the pines behind me. Karen had called the cops. Again. This time, she told them I was illegally harvesting water from community resources. Community. As if the Lake Me Lake had somehow been signed over to her HOA Fantasyland without me noticing. As if she hadn't tried this before. First it was noise complaints from my kayak motor. Then it was improper shoreline aesthetics. But this was the line. I turned slowly as two officers stepped onto the gravel path leading down to the dock. They looked confused and young. One of them even rested his hand on the butt of his sidearm like I was going to run. "Sir," the taller one said, "we've had a report of unauthorized activity on this body of water. Are you the property owner?" Before I could answer, Karen stormed out from behind them, her chunky heels crunching the gravel, her floral blouse screaming fake authority. She waved a manila folder like it was the Constitution. "There he is," she huffed, short of breath. "I told you. That man is not on the HOA Lake Use roster. He has no permission to extract water." I stared at her stunned. "Karen," I said calmly as I could, "this lake is private. It's on deeded land. My land. My family's land. It's not part of your HOA. You've known that for years." She shoved the folder toward the officers. "Not according to this map. The 2007 overlay includes this inlet as shared HOA access shoreline." One of the cops looked at the map. I saw his brow wrinkle. "You got ID?" he asked me. I gave it to him. He stared at it for a beat too long. "Can you prove ownership?" he asked. That's when the disbelief hit me. I looked at them, mouth dry. "You want me to prove I own the lake I grew up on?" Karen folded her arms with a smug smirk. "Yes, that's exactly what we want." It felt like the air was sucked from the lake. Like the ghosts of every ancestor who'd fished these waters with calloused hands had just been erased by a map printed off Karen's desktop. But I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I called my cousin Darius. Darius is quiet, hates confrontation, and works as a title research specialist with the county records office. He also happens to be meticulous-like, has documents from 1899 meticulous. Within 30 minutes, he pulled up the original land patent issued under the Homestead Act. He texted me the file. Stamped. Digitized. Unbreakable. I handed it to the officers. They stepped away to review it. Karen looked nervous now but still puffed up. "You can fake documents," she muttered. "He probably found some outdated record. This lake belongs to the community now." I ignored her. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Darius. "She tried to file a zoning claim last month. Denied. Twice. Twice." She knew. That's when I pulled out the real ace. See, what Karen didn't know, what no one but family did, was that the lake wasn't just private. It was protected. Under federal conservation easement. When my father died, he signed an agreement to preserve the lake's ecological integrity in perpetuity. That agreement was co-signed by the Department of the Interior. It didn't just make the lake mine. It made it untouchable. I showed the second file to the officers. One of them whistled. The younger one finally turned to Karen and asked, "Ma'am, are you aware that this property is listed under a federal conservation grant?" Karen blinked. "That can't be right. My HOA charter says." "Your HOA charter," the cop cut in, "doesn't override federal land law." She sputtered. "This is harassment. You're supposed to be arresting him." The cops stared at her. Then one of them took out a pad. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to come with me. You're being cited for filing a false police report and interfering with protected private land." Her jaw dropped. "What?" "I was following procedure." "No," he said. "You were trespassing. On federal land." Karen's knees wobbled. Her pride cracked. She looked smaller somehow, like the air had been let out of her fake power. And that was only the beginning. Karen didn't go quietly. She shrieked. She flailed. She called someone on her phone, demanding that her attorney speak to the officers immediately. But the officers didn't even blink. One of them gently, firmly, took the folder from her hands while the other began reading her the citation details aloud. Not an arrest yet, but a formal written charge for filing a knowingly false report, trespassing on protected land, and interfering with a federal easement site. It hit her like a brick wall wrapped in red tape. She kept saying the same thing over and over. But he doesn't even act like he owns it. He doesn't have fences or gates. He lets kids fish here. That's not private behavior. I finally turned and looked her square in the eye. Karen, ownership isn't about fences. It's about stewardship. I protect this lake, not hoard it. That's something your clipboard will never understand. The younger officer almost smiled at that. Karen didn't. The patrol car rolled out slowly, with her in the back seat, not cuffed, but quiet for once. The red and blue lights flickered across the dock, bouncing off the water like some surreal funeral procession. It should have felt like a victory. But to be honest, it felt like the end of something heavier. A long, slow betrayal that had finally collapsed under its own weight. I stood alone for a while after that, watching a blue heron land near the reeds, silent and undisturbed. Then I heard another car door shut behind me. It was Emmett Ruiz, local journalist and, as of late, an old friend. He'd gotten the tip-off from Darius. His crew showed up just in time to catch the last of the patrol car pulling away. "You okay?" he asked me. I shrugged. "She called the cops on me for stealing my own lake." "Again?" He nodded, camera already rolling. "Mind telling the story?" I did. Calmly. Factually. From the original deed in 1897 to the conservation easement in 2003. From Karen's first fake complaint about zoning lines, to her attempt to quietly change the land survey on an unofficial HOA web portal. Emmett didn't interrupt. He just listened. Like the whole town would, eventually. By Tuesday, the video had 500,000 views. By Friday, Karen's face was on every news channel in the state. HOA president files false police report. Accuses landowner of stealing protected lake. False map scheme exposed by local ranchers' family title records. Conservation easement saves lake from fraudulent HOA takeover. The town held an emergency forum the following week. For once, it wasn't just HOA members or ranchers, it was everyone. Teachers, nurses, small business owners, people who were tired of one woman making decisions that hurt real families, people who had stories of their own about Karen, her fake fines, her harassing phone calls, her threats of towing and code violations that never existed. Then something unexpected happened. A woman stood up in the backholder, nervous, holding a notebook to her chest. She said her name was Rose, and that she used to be Karen's friend. Her voice trembled, but she spoke anyway. "I have emails. From last year." Karen bragged about trying to redraw the lake access map before the new homeowners moved in. She said, and I quote, "We'll just make it part of the community." He's too quiet to fight back. The room went still. Karen's entire house of cards crumbled that night. The HOA board voted unanimously to remove her from office. Several homeowners filed a class action claim, citing fraudulent representation and misused dues. Her personal bank account was frozen during the investigation. She tried to go online to defend herself, but every comment thread turned into a reckoning. She eventually deleted her social media. Then her number. Then it seemed her identity. And the lake? It's never been more alive. After the dust settled, I applied for a community partnership grant. Not to fence it off. Not to hide it. But to build a learning center on the western edge made of reclaimed barnwood and solar panels where local kids could study freshwater ecosystems. We named it Wyatt's Waterline, in honor of my father and the legacy he left behind. The sign out front? It's carved by hand. Avery, my niece, did it herself. This lake was never yours to take. Now every weekend kids come with nets and sketchbooks. Researchers come by appointment. And anyone who tries to tell me I don't belong here gets met with history carved into the land itself. Funny thing is, I haven't seen Karen since the forum. Some say she moved 2 towns over, changed her hair, joined a new HOA. Others say she's hiding, waiting for the public to forget. But they won't, because the land remembers. And so do we. What about you? Was justice served here, or should someone like Karen have been given a second chance? Let me know what you think. Right and wrong don't always come with easy lines, but lakes. They always show you the reflection of who you really are.